welcome to the daily English news program on Azərbaycan Televiziya. This is your host, Neli, with most important events of the day. On November 23rd, President, Supreme Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, İlham and First Lady Mehriban Aliyeva visited the liberated city of Ağdam. Following the visit, First Lady Mehriban Aliyeva shared a post on her official Instagram page.
Şimdi biz işğaldan azad edilmiş torpaqlara keçirik. İstiqamət Ağdam şəhəri. Ağdam şəhərini və işğal altında olmuş Ağdam rayonunun torpaqlarını bir güllə atmadan azad etdik. Düşməni döyüş meydanında məğlub edərək məcbur etdik ki, Ağdam rayonundan düşmən çəkilsin. Bakın müdafiə xətti Ağdam şəhərinə qədər bir neçə müdafiə xətti var idi düşmənin. Bakın. Bakın bir tane de müdafiə xətti. Çəkir onu. Sağda da düşmən tərəfindən dağılmış Azərbaycan vətəndaşlarının evləridir. Dünya görsün ki, vəhşi düşmən nə günə qoyub bizim kəndlərimizi. Hansı vəhşilərlə biz üz-üzəydik. Hansı vəhşiləri biz məğlub etmişik. Bütün dünya bunu görməlidir. Bir dənə də salamat bina yoxdur. Hamısını dağıdıblar. Sağda da var. Sol tərəfdə də halısı dönüb binadır. şəhərlərimizi, kəndlərimizi dağıdıb, torpaqlarımızdan istifadə edib. Bütün hərbi cinayətlərə görə düşmən cavab verəcək. Ağdam şəhərinə də biz jurnalistləri, o cümlədən xarici jurnalistləri də dəvət edəcək. Diplomatik korpus nümayəndələrini dəvət edəcək.
Dağıdılmamış bina yok.
Minare. Kaldırdığım bayrak eşk olsun.
The Azerbaijani flag is hoisted on the monument of history and architecture, the Shahbulaq fortress in the Agdam region of Azerbaijan, liberated from more than 27 years of Armenian occupation. Shahbulaq fortress is one of the historical sites of Agdam. The fortress was built in 1751-1752 by the order of the Karabakh ruler Panaghali Khan. Results of preliminary monitoring in the territories liberated from the occupation were presented to UNESCO and ISESCO. First Deputy Minister of Culture of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Acting Minister Anar Karimov, has appealed to Director Generals of UNESCO and ISESCO. It was noted in the appeal that preliminary monitoring was carried out to determine the damage to cultural heritage in the territories of Azerbaijan, which had been occupied by the Armenian armed forces for nearly 30 years and were recently liberated from occupation. The results of the preliminary monitoring of the damage to historical, cultural and religious monuments of Azerbaijan in the territories occupied by Armenia were noted. It was stated that the destruction of historical and cultural heritage is a gross violation of the requirements of relevant international conventions and a crime against humanity. The appeal says that the development of a historical, multicultural and tolerant society in Azerbaijan is one of the main dictators of the state policy today. It was noted that the results of the ongoing monitoring in the liberated territories will be regularly presented to the leaders of both organizations. The TRT World TV channel made a report from the Agdam region liberated from the enemy occupation. The video emphasizes the destruction. During the 30-year occupation, not a single whole building remained in the city. The correspondent reports that once Agdam was one of the most densely populated regions of Azerbaijan. But today, the area is in a state as if a time bomb has been dropped on it. The report also notes that the area of Russian peacekeepers into Nagorno-Karabakh and the deployment of Turkish servicemen in the region in the near future. In accordance with instructions of the head of state on organization of temporary special management in territories liberated from occupation, task force consisting of leadership and relevant authoritative persons of the Justice Ministry has been established in order to provide organized and operative execution of upcoming duties by the ministry, said Minister of Justice Rövşən Məmmədov. He said that the new Qarabağ Regional Judicial Department has been established in order to analyze national and international legislation regarding Armenia's war and anti-humanism crimes, economic and other legal activity aimed at support of occupation and separatism. To determine the damage on judicial and court infrastructure in territories liberated from occupation and conduct of necessary measures for provision of activities if these bodies, as well as to define other duties of the judicial bodies and their organized execution. Respective offices of the Qarabağ Regional Department of the State Fire Supervision Service of the Ministry of Emergency Situations started its work in Füzuli, Cəbrayıl, Zəngilan, Qubadli and Xocavənd regions. The law enforcement bodies of Azerbaijan have put the former Minister of Defense of Armenia, Seyran Ohanyan, on the wanted list. A criminal case was initiated against him under Article 103 of the Criminal Code of Azerbaijan, genocide. The motion was granted by the Baku Military Court, and Ohanyan was remanded in custody in absentia. 58-year-old former minister was born in Shusha. He studied at the Baku Higher Combined Arms Command School. He was one of the main participants in the commission of crimes against the Azerbaijani population, especially the Khojali genocide. It's also emphasized that Seyran Ohanyan was the Minister of Defense of Armenia in 2008-2016. Currently, Armenia is in utter disarray. Anti-government protests continue unabated. Along with the capital, protests spilled over to regions as well. Meanwhile, Deputy Defense Minister Gabriel Balayan was relieved of his duty. Disaffected parents of soldiers this time protested in front of a military unit located in Gyumri, Armenia's second biggest city. One of the angry parents said that even though the war ended 10 days ago, there is still no news of their children. Numerous protests in front of the government buildings and the Defense Ministry were all to no avail. The Defense Ministry tells them to find out the details on military units from commanders on their own. Addressing traitor Pashinyan, I would like to say, you killed our children on Karabakh soil, and you will be held accountable sooner or later, the parent of a soldier said. Desperate parents attempted to infiltrate the military units by smashing windows. Then clashes erupted between the high-ranking military officers and parents. Meanwhile, it's been 2 weeks of continuing anti-government protests on the Freedom Square in Yerevan. Protester, former head of the National Security Service, leader of the Motherland Party, Artur Vanatesyan, stated that Pashinyan is ready to destroy the entire population of the country to hold his position. According to Vanatesyan, he, as a person who has worked with Pashinyan for 2 years, knows so much about his policy. Pashinyan has always been very cruel to disgruntled citizens and, if necessary, even detained, tortured or destroyed them, said Artur Vanatesyan. 2,187 infections with the novel coronavirus were registered in Azerbaijan. 634 people recovered after treatment and were released home. 29 people who earlier tested positive for COVID-19 died. The overall confirmed cases in Azerbaijan have reached 95,281 with 64,475 recoveries and 1,160 deaths. The number of active infections is 29,646. To detect new infection cases over the past day, 9,784 tests and overall 1,617,239 tests have been conducted in Azerbaijan. The task force under the Cabinet of Ministers reported. That was all for the day. Thank you for being with us and see you next time.